Hello everyone. Today in this lecture I am going to deal about the next part in digestive system, that is stomach, or it is also being called as gaster. So this is very important part because it is a mixing chamber that stores food and it further aid in digestion. So here in this lecture we will discuss what is its location, the size and shape, capacity of this stomach, and what are the layers of the wall of stomach, what is stomach bed. So before you watch this video, I'll suggest you that I have been made various other topic related to the digestive system, so you can go through with this all. So the system will be easier for you to understand. So I have given the link of these all video in the description box, so you can watch all these. So here in this lecture we'll discuss the anatomy of stomach. So where the stomach is located? It is in the abdominal cavity below the diaphragm, left side in the upper portion. So we know that diaphragm is the muscular partition that separates the thorax from the abdomen. So it is present in the abdominal cavity in the upper segment. But where? So to understand this, we just divide this abdominal cavity in the 9 regions, you can see, and out of 9 regions the stomach is lying in 3 regions or in 3 parts, that is in umbilical region, epigastric region and left hypochondriac region. So this is the location of the stomach, okay, but its location is continuously changing whenever we take breath in or out, because whenever we inhale, so with this each inhalation our diaphragm goes down to expand the lungs, and because of that the stomach is also going down, and whenever we exhale out, in same manner the diaphragm pulls up and the stomach also moves up, okay. So it is changing its position, but exact location I have told you where it is located. And the size of stomach is about 25 centimeter long, and the shape is J letter, but when it is empty then only it forms J letter shape, or you can say in form of large sausage. But when it is partially filled with food, then it is extended, it is distended, and when it is distended then it looks like pear or pyriform shaped. So this is a muscular bag or pouch like structure which connects with the esophagus, the esophagus lower end, that is at the level of thoracic 11th. We already read about that. At the level of thoracic 11th, where the lower esophageal part ends, here the stomach starts, and at the level of lower lumbar first vertebra, the part of stomach, pylorus, is connected with the first part of small intestine, that is called duodenum, okay. Now we'll see there are 2 orifices and 2 curvature in the stomach. So the orifices or the opening are cardiac opening, where it connects with the esophagus on the upper part, and the other sphincter or the other opening or orifice is called the pyloric opening or pyloric orifice, which connect the pylorus part of the stomach to the duodenum part. And the 2 curvature are the lesser curvature, which is concave, it is in median aspect, it is in right side, and it is small, okay. And the other curvature, which is long, is the greater curvature, okay. It is lying in the left side, it is convex, okay, and it is larger, and it is left inside. So these are the 2 curvature, lesser and greater, but greater curvature, where it starts, have a small notch here which is called cardiac notch. And the capacity of this stomach is about 1.5 to 2 liter in adults, and it has 4 parts. So the part which start with this cardiac orifice, here this small part is called cardiac, and lateral to this cardiac orifice in the horizontal manner, okay, in the horizontal manner if we draw a line, then the part which comes superior to that line is called which is convex or dome shaped, is the fundus. The middle larger portion is called body, and there is one more notch which is present in this lesser curvature right away, that is angular notch. So externally there is one line which goes downward and in left side that divide the stomach in two parts. The smaller end part is called pylorus. So this is the smaller part, and again in pylorus it is divided into three parts. One is pyloric antrum, then small canal is there, which is pyloric canal, and the opening, the sphincter, from where the food content moves toward the duodenum, is called pylorus. Okay, so these are the three parts in the smaller section, pyloric part. So these are the part, majorly it is divided into four: cardiac, fundus, body and pylorus. It is not compulsory that at what pace you are eating, in same manner the food is digested and absorbed. So this plays very important role in storing the food, because as I told you that it is not digested and absorbed in same manner as we ingest food. So it is a mixing chamber that allows the food bolus to mix with the gastric juices which is present in the stomach here, and forms a semi-liquid solution here, and it reserves the food here because it is a reservoir, and allows the small quantity of food to move at a regular interval through this pyloric opening and goes into the duodenum. So it is a mixing chamber as well as reservoir to store the food for a particular time period. Now let's see the layers in the wall of stomach. So as it forms the pouch like structure, the bag like structure, then it has few layers that surround this pouch. So as we already discussed in the GI tract also, that there are the four basic layers in the whole tract. From inner to outer is mucosa, submucosa, muscularis and serosa. So in same manner it has also following layers. The innermost lining is called mucosa, but here in the mucus the one thing which is quite different with the esophagus is that in the esophagus the lining is made up of stratified squamous epithelial lining, where the multiple layer of flat cell is there, because they comes in contact with the food and there may be a chance of damage in the lining. But here once it comes in this pouch, what happened? Abruptly the lining changes. They change from stratified to simple columnar cell. There is a single column like cell which line this mucosal lining and form various elevation, finger like elevation in the mucosal lining. Okay, column like elevation they are forming here. Okay, this is the basic abrupt change in esophagus to stomach lining. Okay, in the mucosa. In these lining, the all cells are not same type because they function differently. Like they contain various different type of cells. Combinedly, these all cells are called gastric glands, because they have different property. They releases some different secretions, and combinedly they form gastric juice, which releases the secretion in the pit, that is the depression in between these all folds. So they combinedly form some secretion, exocrine secretion. They releases in the pit, and then this secretion comes on this lumen, on the surface of this stomach lining. Okay, so these are the folds which called the gastric pits. Okay, so these are the pits in which these secretions are released. So the cells which line these pits, okay, so the cells which line these pits are surface mucus cell, the red line cell, and the mucous neck cells which I have drawn in the green. Okay, so these both type of cell, mucous neck cell and mucous surface mucus cell, they both releases mucus. Okay, Next comes the parietal cell or the oxyntic cells, which releases HCl and intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor is very essential for the absorption of vitamin B12. So the cells which I have drawn in black is the parietal cell or the oxyntic cell. Then come chief cell or peptic cell, or you can say zymogenic cell. These releases pepsinogen and gastric lipase, which I have drawn in green, dark green. Okay, and the other type of cell are called G cell. G means gastrin because they releases gastrin. So combinedly these all type of cell form various exocrine secretion, because these are exocrine glands which releases their secretion on the surface. So they all releases some secretion. This mixes and form gastric juice that fill first this pit and then goes on the surface of this lumen. Okay, so this is called the mucosa lining, the innermost lining of the stomach. Okay, that is quite different with the esophagus. Now outer to this mucosa comes the submucosa, which contains some areolar connective tissues, arterioles, some nerve plexuses, that all we discussed in the previous part. Then outer to that is very important, third layer is called muscle layer. So it is again different from the other layer in GI tract because it has three layers. The outermost or the superficial lining, which especially present more in the curvatures, is called longitudinal. Then the inner one is, the middle one is the circular, which is more abundant in the body part and in the fundus part, and especially at the pyloric region, where these circular muscle fibers form a circular sphincter that controls the movement of food from stomach to duodenum. Yes, and the innermost is the oblique, the blue one. So the longitudinal red, green, circular, and the innermost blue is the oblique, and it is also present abundantly at the cardiac notch, fundal part, and somewhat in fundal, the body part. So these are the three muscle layers, and outer to that is serosa. It is not adventitia here as in esophagus. So it is the serosa layer which forms the outermost layer of the stomach, but this serosa, the mesothelium here, which is formed by simple squamous lining or the connective tissue, is actually the part of visceral peritoneum. So peritoneum is the membrane that covers the abdominal cavity. Yes, so in that also there are the two lining. The inner lining is visceral peritoneum that encloses the various organs which lines in the abdominal cavity, and the outer one is the parietal peritoneum. So here the visceral peritoneum that encloses the stomach forms the serosa layer here. Okay, but here what happened, this is the anterior surface. So in the anterior and in the posterior surfaces, the visceral peritoneum covers the stomach like this and meet anteriorly here, meet here in this right side and form lesser omentum here, and in same manner where they meet in this area in the greater curvature, they form greater omentum there. Okay, so in same manner anteriorly and posteriorly both the visceral peritoneum covers the stomach and meet anteriorly, meet in the right side and in left side and form lesser and greater omentum here. So these are the layers in the wall of stomach from inner to outer: mucosa, submucosa, muscularis and serosa. Now what is stomach bed? So the structures or the organs which come in relation with the posterior surface of the stomach forms the stomach bed. Okay, so suppose if you remove the stomach, then what all structure you can see in the posterior aspect are called the organs associated in the stomach bed. So there are 7 structures which come in this posterior surface, and we can learn these all by a simple trick. that is the trick is TDS, SS, PK. So these are the 7 structures that you can learn through this TDS, SS, PK. T means transverse mesocolon, D means diaphragm, S means splenic artery, again one more S means left suprarenal gland, the other S is the splenic fissure of colon, and P stand for pancreas and K for kidney, that is left kidney or left renal. So in this lecture we have learned about the stomach or the gaster, which is a pouch or muscular bag that extends from the lower end of esophagus in the GI tract, and it connects with the first part of small intestine, duodenum, and we have seen its location, then the size and shape, the external features, that is the both the curvatures and the various parts, and we have discussed about the layers in the wall of stomach and discussed about the stomach bed. Thank you.